Hi friends, today we will be having a discussion on the most sought after professional course in finance and accounting. So, when I tell that we will be talking about, it is not only in India, but globally I will be taking up for discussion. The most sought after professional qualification in accounting and finance is CPA. Why? Because the CA has got its own territory, that is in India, Middle East and Far East. Whereas after the globalization, our India is having a lot of MNCs coming up, and our Indian entities have just gone abroad. And you definitely be having a lot of accounting and financing as well as reporting requirements, having this requirement of US regulations. And definitely you find a CPA is required in almost all places. This is the effect of globalization. CPA, USA is having a lot of demand across the world. Now we will be having a discussion on CPA as how we can gain the qualification. Instead of myself talking, I would like you people to raise questions and I will definitely be replying to your satisfaction. Now let's just start this question session.
What's the minimum qualification to get into CPA?
See, now let us basically understand that in USA we have around 55 provinces, like how we have state government and union territory. There also they have a central body and as well as state body. And for completing this CPA, they require some minimum eligibility. That means every year of graduation they provide 30 hours of credit. In India, a graduation will be running for 3 years. So 90 hours of credit a graduate with commerce background would be getting. But to take up that examination, they expect 120 hours. How do I get? So a person who had joined MCom, completed first year, will be getting 120 hours. So therefore, in the very first place, 120 can be gained by a postgraduate, I mean with 1 year MCom only. If a person had completed 2 years of MCom, he will be getting 150. So do you expect everybody to have MCom? Answer to the question will be in the negative. So in my case, I am a BCom with CA degree. So every CA degree, that is I mean completion of CA final, they give credit to the extent of 60. So with my BCom 90 plus this 60, I am just getting 150. For taking up CPA, 120 is required. By the time I complete, I should have 150. This is the way they have just planned, and lot of provinces, they have their own plans. But only in very few provinces, we do have so many things which are convenient for Indian based graduates with CA degree or Indian based MCom people. So this way you do have a lot of conveniences that you have, but minimum 120, and in the case of you completing the CPA, you are expected to have 150 hours of credit. After joining CPA also, person can take up MCom and complete, so that he gets this license after completing CPA.
Thank you, sir. How many papers are there in CPA?
Though CPA stands with 3 letters CPA, but it has got 4 papers. Financial accounting and reporting, you call it as FAR. Second one, business environment and concepts, they call it out as BEC. So if you look at CPA, though 4 papers you have, they always come with 3 letter FAR, financial accounting and reporting, business environment and concepts, BEC. Then third one is regulation, they put it out as reg. Then finally you have one paper, that is auditing. There also they say AUD. So like CPA with 3 letters, you have FAR, you have reg, you have BEC, and you have AUD. That is financial accounting and reporting, business environment and concept, regulation, and lastly auditing.
What is the frequency of this CPA exam, sir?
In India, for CA or CMA or CS examination, we have two types, semesters you can say, May and November, or it could be June and December. We don't have that concept in the case of CPA. If you are ready to take up the examination, and when you have that exam centers ready with that particular slots available, you can take up the examination at any point of time. So it is 365 24/7. It is only the slot that matters, and there is no such frequency as you have it in India.
What is the exact number of exam hours for all these 4 papers?
See, a good question you asked. So students would like to know how many hours of testing will be there. So in the case of CA, CAA or ACS, you have 3 hours. In this particular case, it is 4 hours. So what are the type of questions that you got to take up? So do not think about descriptive answers. It is all multiple choice questions, MCQ models for 3 hours, and for 1 hour it is all case study, which they call it out as simulation. We have that in other places also. So please consider it is 4 hours of examination non-stop. 4 hours of examination non-stop, and it is all about MCQ and simulation based.
What is the course duration for CPA, sir?
So course duration, if you take up for CA or CAA or CS, from foundation level, if you take 4 years and all that they tell. Likewise, if you ask me a question, you don't have 2 years to get completed and all that. Minimum you can pass even in 6 months time. Be a full-time student, clear it in 6 months time. Nobody will ask a question why you have taken up in 6 months time. Whereas in CA and all that, you have to complete your articles, towards the end they allow you to take up the examination. Here it is not like that. When you take it up full time, you can complete everything by 6 months time. I am just thinking in a very optimistic way. I think you can understand. I take up the examination and I clear. That is 6 months time. So if a person wants to take one paper at a time, and after the pass of the first paper, within 18 months he has to complete the remaining. So therefore you may consider that if a person wants to take up one particular paper in 6 months time, so from there, from the first pass to clearing CPA, it will take 18 months. So therefore, and when I say as 24 months, so it is not like that you have to take up 2 years and then complete. So maximum limit is what I have just communicated. So if you are a full-time student, all the 4 papers you can complete in 6 months time, and from the first pass, the remaining papers that you have to complete will be 18 months.
Thank you, sir. What is the minimum pass percentage?
A good question. So when we have this in India, we see minimum marks that I got to score being 40, aggregate 50, and you have group concept and all that. Here we don't have that. We have 75 percentile. It is not percentage. What is the difference between percentile and percentage? So depending upon the complexity of the problem of the MCQ, across those who have taken up the examination, they will evaluate that this item could be awarded with 2 marks. In another case, it may be half a mark, depending upon the easy or difficult moments. And it is not like our mark system. It is percentile. Percentile minimum 75 the person has to score. So 74 means is not qualified. 75 minimum, and you can score even up to 100. Minimum 75.
Thank you, sir. Do I need to travel to US to take the CPA exam, or is it available in India?
Previously, prior to this COVID, people were required to travel to USA to take up the examination. COVID brought lot of damages and also benefits to mankind. So what was considered to be an examination to be taken up in Middle East or in USA, now it had just come to India also. And we do have 8 centers in India, and 4 centers in South India. So this way you just find across India you can take up examination in those centers, 8 centers only.
May I know the cost factor associated in completing this course, sir?
So once again a very good question you people have just asked. Cost is a very important matter. If I were to be a full-time student where I am dependent on my parents, so quite naturally I would like to tell them, yes, this is the price. I can give this video to my parents and say that this is the cost. So let me tell you, we are going to pay majority of the cost only in dollars. As you know that dollar is a volatile and therefore the price is a little on the higher side. Let me tell you here, it is in the range of 4 lakhs to 5 lakhs. Take into consideration the trend at which dollar is priced. It is going to be like that. And one more important thing is that do compare this with MS studies. Those engineering graduates who take up in USA, they spend 40-50 lakhs. Compared to that, it is only 10%, my dear. So the cost is just 10%, and I would say it is 4 lakhs to 5 lakhs, a little on the higher side. Please understand, if you are very optimistic and if you are a full-time student, it is all possible within 3.5. So please understand, I am just making the mark with a very optimistic note. Within 3.5 lakhs, it's all over. Yeah, little, or I would just say, if a person is not that serious, it should be possible within 4 to 5 lakhs of rupees.
Does the CPA course is having any recognition in India or it's only abroad?
So wherever you find a professional, he has got his own, what should I say, attraction. So be in India, be anywhere in the world, you just find the most sought after professional qualification in finance and accounting is CPA. So there is no problem at all in getting into any employment in MNC or in Big Four, or a person who is having an intention to settle abroad. So for example, in the case of USA, yes. And one more important thing is that when you qualify CPA USA, you get automatically the membership, maybe a small formality that you got to do from Canada and Australia and all that. So therefore, you can spread your wings across the globe. So that advantage that you get in the case of CPA USA.
Is there any age limit factor for doing this exam?
There is absolutely no age limit. There is no minimum age limit. There is no maximum age limit. If you feel that you want this qualification and if you satisfy yourself for the basics, yes, at any point of time you can take up that. So that big advantage you have. The thing is that you should be a full-time student is what my only request is. Even at the age of say 56 or 55 or 46, 60, one can take up, check up with your basic educational qualification, check up with your urge to complete, and also see your vision. Definitely this is possible. You can qualify at any point of time. There is no bar saying that limitation you don't have, that you got to complete it within this point of time. If you want to take up medical education, you do have those barriers, but you don't have that barrier in the case of CPA. At any point of time you can do that.
Do we need to pay these fees upfront?
Say a good question you are asking, not only for yourself, for some of the students it may have a pinch on the pay packet of your parents. Not at all. Please just don't worry about that. So fees you got to pay it in installments. So it is not for CPA. So please just understand the first stage is evaluation. Am I eligible? Whether my qualification were all taken up. For that there will be a fees. Then join a coaching class, that you got to pay it in INR, whereas the first one will be in dollars. And then once you undergo that training and coaching and evaluate yourself as whether you are fit for the examination, that time you decide, yes, this is the right time that I pay. That time you have got to pay for examination fees and international fees. So all that you have got to pay at that point of time, and therefore the cost which I was just referring about 3.5 lakhs, 4 lakhs and 5 lakhs and all that. So only 1/3 or less than that will be incurred in the very first stage, maybe that 60 percentage or close to that you will be paying in the form of examination fees. So therefore, if at all you feel that it is a little straining on you, please just don't worry, and if you have the credibility, you can take up any loan from the banker and you pay interest only for the amount that you have drawn and not pay entirely and pay interest for the full period. It is not like that. It is a little manageable only, and for this education or this much of recognition that is available, the cost is on the lower side and you don't have to pay upfront. That's very, very important.
Sir, could you explain more on what is evaluation is?
Yes, a good question once again. See, to check up as whether I am eligible to take up that CPA, I got to approach the jurisdiction under which I got to put my application. In my earlier discussion, I was just referring about province, which they term it out as a jurisdiction. You do not approach them directly. So send your basic degree and all that credentials to us. We are there to help you to take it to the right place to get that done for you, and evaluation for which we have identified certain jurisdictions which are a little more favorable to our Indian students. So keep the worry outside, approach Sreeram Coaching Point, and we will render this service besides coaching for CPA.